Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Offside Opinions podcast. I know it's been a while, but I'm Ashwini Otia.
And I'm Levi Nah.
And we will jump in a second. It's been, 9 weeks? 10 weeks?
Yeah,
it's been a while. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the grade for all the teams up till now, and then we're going to go into the recap of last week's games. This is being recorded on a Monday, so no MNF, but we'll give our picks. Don't worry. All right, let's jump in straight with grades for each team this season. First team up, Tennessee Titans.
I gave the Titans a solid F. They were the first team to fire their coach, and I think that was the right move. This clearly wasn't working out. He wasn't taking responsibility for a lot of the failure, like play calls and stuff. He was wasting Cam Ward. Not a great season so far, but Cam Ward at least has a future.
Agreed. I had an F as well. Look, the first few weeks of the season, their offense performed, right? But they kept losing. Not much you can do when you're playing the Rams and the Broncos and, decent teams.
Yeah.
But, like you said, coach not taking responsibility. Everything is on the coach.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much you can do with a rookie QB, right? Those guys got to be nurtured, developed, and he really wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with the firing. Next team up, the Cleveland Browns. Everybody's favorite dumpster fire.
I got the Browns a solid F again.
Agreed.
The Browns, really the only bright spot in their entire team is Myles Garrett. He already has 11 sacks on the year, which is looking like a potential defensive player of the year career for the season. But other than that, Dylan Gabriel is just not working out. I think they might as well try out Shadur Sanders, see where that goes. But yeah, kind of a lost season.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Dylan Gabriel is the answer. He had a decent game, but with all things considered, I feel like between him and Shadur, one's the better QB, right? But I've always been on that. I think Shadur is better trained. But beside the point, I agree that they should deserve an F, absolutely. And I think Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, his tenure with the Browns might be coming to a close soon.
Yeah.
They're not getting results. Myles Garrett opted in, had 5 sacks. They still lost.
Yeah.
Just a combination of things that isn't very good for the Browns franchise. Though the Browns, they're the Browns. So what can we expect? Next up is everybody's other favorite dumpster fire, the New York Giants.
I don't know if dumpster fire is quite fair. I had them at a C because they clearly have a future with Jackson Dart. He is looking incredible. I would put him right now maybe even in top 10 QBs in the league. Their season's obviously kind of over now that they don't have Cam Scatterboo, Malik Neighbors, and their defense is just collapsing. They fired Brian Daboll. I think they've kind of given up on this season, but they definitely have the potential to rebuild a very strong young team.
Yeah, the New York Giants, I gave them an F, flat out.
The teams that I gave an F, I gave them an F because they clearly don't have a future.
No, I gave them an F because I hated the Brian Daboll firing.
That's
I don't think Brian Daboll deserves to be fired.
Yeah.
You can see that you have young talent who like being under Daboll. You can see that Daboll liked working with that young talent. You can see that's a great combo, and yet you still fire him.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up properly, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And Look, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo, and Malik Neighbors, that trio right there is good enough to win you one Super Bowl if you put enough pieces around them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Dart went out with a concussion. He has, no O-line. The defense, let's just say, is pitiful. Sure, 4 weeks, they've given up 10-plus points, comebacks. 10-plus, or comebacks with 10 or more points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk, but beside the point.
They keep getting these great early leads, and then
you can see the spark in the Giants. They just can't continue it over 4 quarters of the game.
Yeah.
They continue it over 3, and then in the fourth quarter they end up being down. They end up being up 26-8, and then losing 33-26.
That's a combination of rookie mistakes by Jackson Dart and defense.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Exactly. But I just hated Brian Daboll firing. Therefore, I gave him an F.
Yeah.
The Patriots, Drake May, my GOAT. I gave them an A+.
That is an easy A.
Like,
I didn't give them an A+, but easiest A I've ever given.
Yeah, like this is by far the easy. There's only one other team that I gave an A+. You probably guess it. But,
yeah, that's actually the same for me. But
yeah, like that's how good this team was.
Yeah.
It's just like you don't expect it, but Mike Vrabel has completely changed the culture in New England.
Yeah.
And I think what Vrabel has done is going to be very, very important for the future generations.
Yeah.
Like, the Titans had something special going on with Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown. Then they screwed that up by trading A.J. Brown for D-Hop.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, is what happened. It wasn't exactly for D-Hop, but, like, reverse psychology. If you go around the entire globe, it wasn't D-Hop who came to the Titans. That screwed the Titans over. But now, provided the Patriots don't do anything stupid, I think they have a pretty good core resemblance.
Yeah. And, I mean, as long as Stephon Diggs stays healthy, I think they have a very strong potential to make a run in the playoffs this year. I mean, obviously they have the future with all their young talent, but for this year, I think as long as Stephon Diggs stays healthy.
I think the issue is going to be with the run is that can the defense hold up?
Mm-hmm.
Because, the defense hasn't really been tested yet.
Yeah.
Like, the Patriots have beat a lot of bad opponents. Against the Bucs, it was a one-score game. They won.
Mm-hmm.
They did great, but they almost let up a comeback there, too.
Yeah, I think most of their defense looking good has been from their opponents making mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
So far.
And so I think I want to see the defense be tested a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'll give my verdict on, long playoff run, short playoff run, but definitely playoff bound team. I think we can both agree on that.
And you can see good play calling from Mike Vrabel, but more importantly, he's built a really good team culture. Yeah. So that gives hope for the future.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars, what the heck are we doing? C-. They started off the season so strong. I thought for sure this would be what could be a great season for the Jaguars, but their receivers are having so many troubles with drops, injuries, all sorts of things. And I mean, yeah, they just keep selling games with mistakes like that. They've managed to beat teams like the Chiefs and the Niners, but overall, they just have not kept up their early momentum. So
I gave the Jaguars a B-. What he just said about them being the Chiefs and the Niners, that's partially why I give a B-. But also the fact that they're right now leading the AFC South. Not really an expectation that me or Chiba had going into it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main reasons why I give a B-. But again, I agree with what he said about the strong start now becoming a slow slump. That's also the reason why they have a B-. It's like a combination of factors, but the fact that they are on top right now in their division is the main reason for B-. The Raiders. And along with the Raiders, we'll just go with the Jets because they both have the same grade, I'm guessing. Fs.
So I gave the Raiders an F. I at least gave the Jets an F+ because they're slowly climbing out of the ditch they've dug themselves into.
Pity points.
But yeah, basically pity points at that point. The Raiders... Really, at this point, it's just a Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, and Ashton Genty show. The rest of it is terrible.
Yeah. I mean, look, we expected Pete Carroll to go in there and do something special.
Yeah.
Not really what happened. Geno looks... I don't even know how to describe it. He looks like he's never played football before.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he looks worse than that somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's completely forgotten how to play football. And because of that, Geno Smith has basically dragged the Raiders into a 2-7 hole. I would say almost single-handedly because, Ashton Genty, the first 2 weeks of the season, he's a rookie. You got to give him time to develop. So he hasn't been playing, as he did at Boise State. But also, you have Brock Bowers, right? Just throw the guy the ball and good things happen.
Yeah.
But they refuse to do that. Geno just refuses flat out to give Brock Bowers the ball. The one game he did, Bowers had 3 TDs. It's a recipe for success. It's just the Raiders don't follow it.
Yeah.
And that's why they have the F. For the Jets... Whatever he said about F+, pity points, I don't care. It's an F. Same thing like Pete Carroll. You expected Aaron Glenn to go in and make the defense a whole lot better. Instead, you end up losing Sauce Gardner, who, a little overrated in my opinion, but whatever. And at the same time, your offense with Justin Fields just doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields, in the last game, I believe, he was 6 for 11 for, hold on, let me pull up the thing. Because I know he was 6 for 11. I don't remember the rest of the stats.
Well, and the problem with that is not only, like 6 for 11, okay, that's a decent percentage of completions, but he's just not making enough passing attempts because he waits too long to throw the ball.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure what's happening with that.
6 for 11, 54 yards, a TD, and INT. And along with that, he got sacked 3 times.
Yeah.
So basically, you're telling me he dropped back 14 times to throw. He got sacked 3 of those times, so just about 25% of the time he's getting sacked.
Yeah.
5 times he threw an incompletion. 1 of those was an interception. And 1 of those was a touchdown that Breece Hall took for 42 yards.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the only time their offense is ever doing anything, it's because of Breece Hall, or sometimes Garrett Wilson.
Like, you have Garrett Wilson on your team.
Yeah.
You literally just have to put the ball up there for Garrett Wilson, and it's going to be a catch.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be that hard. Like, even Aaron Rodgers looked better than this in the Jets.
Yeah.
And that is saying something. But, yeah, I think Justin Fields, his time as a starter should be over. It probably won't be until the season's over, but I don't think he's going to have a job next year.
You definitely need to keep Aaron Glenn around, though.
Yeah, I think Aaron Glenn is doing, like, as a coach, he's decent. But as with the players he's been given, terrible.
Yeah.
The Panthers. I give the Panthers a B+.
I give them a C- because it seems like most of the surprise upset wins they've had have been kind of either luck or their opponent just has a down week. They've looked decent whenever Rico Dowdle decides to show up, and Tedero McMillan is working out pretty well, I'd say, but Bryce Young is still yet to take that leap that he needs to be taking if he's going to be a justifiable number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Panthers right now sitting at .500, 5-5, second in the NFC South. All right, their season goes one of 2 ways, up or down. They're kind of in that middle zone that not a lot of teams are in right now. Like, this season has been much more of like teams are either really good or really bad. So they're kind of like fluctuating.
Yeah.
But I think the handy thing for them is they beat some good teams. So should they get into that playoff race, they're going to have a good chance with tiebreakers.
Yeah.
You know? And I give them a B+ because the weeks that they actually look good are the weeks that, like, you can tell that, oh, this Panthers organization is something special.
Mm-hmm.
They're just inconsistent.
Yeah.
Inconsistency is killing this team, and they need to figure something out about that. I still gave the B+ for beating some of the good teams, but I can understand how you say that's luck.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, the Saints. The
Oh,
New
boy.
Orleans Saints.
Here comes another F. The QB room, what are we doing? Like, keeping Spencer Rattler in for as long as they did, I just don't understand that. He's clearly not going to be anyone's QB of the future. He's a backup QB at nature. So, I mean, Tyler Shuck isn't a lot better, but you at least need to give him a chance, try him out. You know, the season's a goner, though.
I mean, yeah, they tried out Tyler Shuck, right, this last weekend, and it went pretty well. Like, they put up.
It wasn't horrible. Beat the Panthers.
Yeah, they beat the Panthers, so it went pretty well. But I had them a D-. Again, pity points. You just call it an F. Same thing.
Yeah.
But what he said is completely justifiable. I think Spencer Rattler was given too much time. Like, he was clear from this time that Spencer Rattler was starting that he really wasn't that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to keep him around for as long as they did, it just shows the state of the organization, the New Orleans Saints. Right? They don't have a good head coach. They don't really have a decent, like, defense. They don't have the greatest of, weapons either. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just kind of Alvin Kamara and his little co-stars like, hey, what's up? But, like, yeah, they definitely need to figure something out probably by the end of the season.
I mean, I think getting rid of Rashid Shaheed was, it's clear they're kind of done for the season.
Yeah, but, like, again, what is Rashid Shaheed? He's a deep target. Do you have a QB who can trust to throw deep? No. You don't have a use for him, so just trade him.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, I think, the thought process behind that. The Chicago Bears. All right, so the Bears, I have a solid B for the Bears.
I give the Bears a C. They've looked okay at times this season, but there's also a lot of head scratchers, like the fact that they've barely beat teams like the Raiders and the Giants, and they lost to the Vikings. And really, most of the teams that they have beat have been pretty bad teams. So I see the Bears really falling down in the rankings over the course of the rest of the season.
I can agree with that, but I also want to just highlight that they're basically like top 3 in the NFC North, and top 3 means they're basically tied for the second behind the Lions, who they got absolutely destroyed by. But So yeah, I totally agree with you, with what Levi said, but I definitely think that the Bears have the capability of doing well, but again, they're like the Panthers, they're inconsistent.
Yeah.
And that inconsistency is only just going to pile up over time. The hospital squad, the 49ers.
Yeah, injury central. I gave them a B because it's really impressive what they've been able to put together with how many stars have been injured this year. And CMC's 100% back, even though, I mean, I didn't really see that coming at all. So it's been impressive, but it's not going anywhere, I don't think. And so
fantasy legend CMC. What?
Yeah.
But no, so I gave the Niners a B minus. I think again what Levi said about how well they've done compared to how many injuries they have, totally true. But I think the job that Robert Saleh has done, especially after being fired by the Jets, is commendable. I think he deserves to be recognized for what he's done.
Without his best two players.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But this is the last year of the Niners. I think after this year, they should be all blown up and restarted. Though I might be completely wrong. The Cowboys.
C minus.
C plus. Let's talk about the Cowboys.
I mean, their offense is one of the best in the league, but you cannot win games with how bad their defense is playing.
POV are the Bengals of last year. The Cowboys, they're second in their division, which is not saying much because the third and fourth teams are the Commanders and Giants, who we will get to, the Commanders. We will get to them, don't worry. But, the Eagles are, the Eagles, right? So then the Cowboys 3-5, sitting right there. Dak Prescott has shown himself to be a good QB, right? I mean,
the George Pickens move has been one of the best in the offseason.
Exactly. Like, I was hating on Dak Prescott a lot earlier, right? But he clearly has shown himself to be a good QB who can get the ball out when he has actual targets. Mm-hmm. And he has actual targets. The issue with the Cowboys is that their owner is senile and needs to be effectively put in an old person home. But until that happens, they're at a C+. The Dolphins, F Central.
Yeah, I gave the Dolphins a D+ because I think what they're going to be saying at the end of the season is at least we beat the Bills, and I think that's fair. There's been some bright spots like beating the Bills and Devon Achane and Jalen Waddle still managing to look great through it all, but not a good season at all.
Yeah, so the Dolphins, Michael Daniels might just keep his job this season, which angers me a lot because he doesn't deserve to. But them firing their GM and immediately winning a game, I think, is kind of indicative of the direction that they're heading toward.
Yeah.
But they need to blow something up soon. They need to get a new QB, not Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
The Colts, who I think me and Levi will unanimously agree is the only other team that we both gave A pluses to.
I gave them an A because I wanted to reserve the A+ for the Rams because I think the Rams and the Colts are the teams most people would say immediately best in the NFL, and the Rams managed to beat the Colts, so I wanted to give them a bit of an edge there. But the Colts have looked incredible. I think the main concern here is the one time Jonathan Taylor wasn't playing great against the Steelers, the whole offense kind of fell apart. So it is critical for their success that Jonathan Taylor keeps it up.
Yeah, I mean, they're like in the same situation as the 49ers, except they're not like injury riddled.
Yeah.
You know, the 49ers use CMC to run their whole offense. The Colts use Jonathan Taylor. And I mean, it's justified. Jonathan Taylor has like 12 touchdowns, and it's like week 10. It's crazy. But for sure, I give it an A+ just because of expectations going into the season and expectations now for them.
Yeah.
Like, in the season, we were like, maybe like a 8-9, 9-18, that maybe fringe playoff contenders. Now we're like, are they going to the Super Bowl or are they not? Which is why I give the A+.
Yeah.
The Falcons.
The Falcons are kind of an interesting team this year because their defense has been pretty stellar, and we've been waiting a long time for that to happen with how many stars they have. And this year has just finally been the year that they get over the hump with the defense. But the offense is just so on and off. I can't give them better than like a C+, a C range, because I mean, yeah, they show flashes of greatness, but it's too few and far in between.
Yeah, so I give them a C-. Michael Penix is the biggest reason why they have a C-. I feel like if he was able to deliver like proper throws that were accurate and that were like actually like half decent throws, they would be in a way better situation because they just missed out on so many different opportunities because of his mistakes. And it's understandable, it's his second year ever starting. But still, for him to miss some of those throws that I feel like he would have hit if he was in college, that's the reason why they have a C minus. The worst team in the NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals.
I give him a D minus. There's not much to say here. Kyler Murray is holding them back. It's plain and simple. Jacoby Brissett has shown if you just get the dang ball to Trey McBride, good things happen. Yeah, same situation basically. Get the ball to your star tight end, and good things happen. Should not be that hard.
Yeah, again, I agree with Levi. I give him a D plus just based off the fact that you're in the NFC West, the hardest division in football right now. You'll be fine, right? But no, yeah, Jacoby Brissett has clearly shown that if you get the ball to Trey McBride or Marvin Harrison Jr., you win games. And they have been really, really bad at doing that because of Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So if I was the Cardinals, I would literally just be like, what QB can we get out of the draft and replace Kyler Murray with? Because he's clearly not cutting it.
Yeah.
The Bengals.
C minus. I mean, very similar, like we said earlier, very similar situation to the, what was it? Just lost my train of thought. Very similar situation to the Cowboys, where the offense has been really interesting to watch. Even without Joe Burrow, I didn't see this coming with Joe Flacco. They've been able to kind of keep the games close for the most part, but the defense is just folding every game.
Yeah, so I give the Bengals an F because of their defense.
Yeah.
If it was just based it off the offense, I would probably give it like a B. But my expectation for the Bengals defense was to be better than last year, which they somehow strikingly not been able to do. It's surprising. And my expectation for their offense was, well, if Joe Burrow was healthy, was a lot. But with Joe Flacco, I think even at the time that he was traded for, I think the Bengals then could have gone on a roll, but it's just the defense who's been holding them back, and that's why they have an F. The Seattle Seahawks, I have them as an A.
I gave them a B plus just because they've had games where they lost to the Niners and stuff like that, where you need to be winning those games. Those are the kind of games where you really need to prove your defense, and they weren't able to. So I think down the stretch they can potentially make a Super Bowl run, but I need to see more consistency from them before I give them an A.
Yeah, I mean, I gave the Seahawks an A just because of, again, expectations versus reality. Expectations was not that they were going to do this. Reality is they've become, perhaps the playoff run, right?
Yeah.
And just for that alone, I gave them an A. I think the Seahawks have the ability to go on a run. It's, again, can they tap into the ability of doing that? And can Sam Darnold not fold like he did last year? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I gave them a B. This has been another season like last year where it's just a test of how good Baker Mayfield can perform with the rest of his roster being injured. And, I mean, he passes the test for the most part, but that doesn't change the fact that they still have those injuries and they're still missing things like their run game is non-existent. Emeka Egbuka is really their only downfield target. You can only just check the ball down to Kate Otten for so long before, you kind of start to slow down. So I don't see them going anywhere this season.
I agree. The Buccaneers, again, expectation versus reality. I gave them a B+, just because of the situation that Baker's working with.
Yeah.
Like, Baker is literally throwing to Emeka Egbuka and Emeka Egbuka's friends. That's basically what's happening. Because as far as Kate Otten's concerned, I mean, yes, he's good, but he's also costed them at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
The run game, Rashad White, again, he's just not good. And Bucky Irving, well, yeah.
They really need him back.
Yeah. But B+, they're going to win their division because, after all, they have the best roster. But it's just not been a very fun ride to watch them on.
Yeah.
The Broncos. I have the Broncos at a B.
I have them at a B as well. They're this year's fourth quarter team. They're the team that starts a game at like 10 points and then the fourth quarter suddenly balloons to like 35. But they need really to make an actual impact on the league, to make a deep run. They need to be better earlier on. The Raiders game was a pretty good example of this. They were just a disaster against the Raiders. It at least showed how good their defense is, but they need to be better earlier on.
Agreed. I mean, look, there's only so many teams you can beat by a field goal, right? So far, they beat literally every bad team possible. The Jets, the Titans, the Raiders, the Giants. All by just field goals.
Yeah.
If you're truly a playoff contender, if you're truly a team that is good, you're going to blow out these teams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no harm to the Broncos. They beat the Eagles. But, again, you have to show that you're consistent, right? If you're going to beat the Eagles, you should blow out these other teams that are like 1-7, 1-8, 2-7, right? Which they haven't been doing. And that's really the reason why they haven't beat. Like, I was already going into the year that Broncos, first round playoff exit maybe. Right now, they should surpass those expectations a little bit. But if they don't give consistent performances, it's just going to be a B. The Steelers.
I give the Steelers a B- because their defense and Aaron Rodgers both are very, very old. And they've shown flashes of what we all expected of them, especially against the Colts. They played absolutely lights out against the Colts. And that's what we want to see from the Steelers. But the reality is they're way too old to keep that up. And so I don't really, again, I see them being a first-round playoff exit, like always.
9-8 Central.
Yeah.
So the Steelers are going to go 9-8 again, which is why I put them in a C. It's the middle of the pack, right?
Yeah.
But they did not look good against the Chargers. But they looked phenomenal against the Colts.
Yeah.
That inconsistency that Levi was pointing out is really why they have a C. Like, and if we sum it up, they're going to make the playoffs 9-8, and they're going to lose first round. Congratulations. The next person. Chargers. A- is what I gave the Chargers.
I would give the Chargers more of a B+. An A- is fair, like kind of a narrow discrepancy, but if you haven't noticed by now, the theme of this year's teams is inconsistency. The Chargers have had weeks where they're looking incredible, but it's just week to week, they seem to not be able to keep it up.
Yeah, like them losing Joe out for the season, their main offensive lineman, that's a huge blow because their O-line already isn't good. Like Justin Herbert is running for his life half the time I watch the games. But the reason why they have an A- is because they finally found a young core that can do something. Mm-hmm. Like Omari and Hampton, Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnston can finally catch the ball.
Never saw that coming.
Oronde Gadsden II. Like those four guys, like even Kimani Vidal, those five guys, they're like the main running back, wide receiver, tight end trio now. And with having those kind of people for Justin Herbert to throw to is really, really helpful. The Packers.
I gave the Packers a B because they've at times looked like a Super Bowl team, but it seems like most of those times are them playing up to their competition. And then other weeks they pull head scratchers like losing to the Panthers and Browns or tying the Cowboys. I could see a world in which this team wins the Super Bowl, but I would not say it's likely.
Yeah, so I give a B-. Again, expectations versus reality. Let's go back to that. Yeah. Expectation, Super Bowl team. Reality, not a Super Bowl team. So it's kind of hard to give you an A if you don't meet your realities.
Yeah.
The first week of the season, they were looking phenomenal. It was the Packers, they're meeting their expectations, they're going to go all the way.
Yep.
8 weeks later, they're not that good. Flat out. The Vikings. Now, I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but I gave the Vikings an F.
I wouldn't go that far, but it has not been good.
And here's why I gave an F. J.J. McCarthy looks so bad. It's hard for me to watch J.J. McCarthy without thinking, why is this guy in the NFL?
Yeah, I hate seeing this where these quarterbacks get drafted as mobile quarterbacks, and then it turns out they really only know how to run for first downs, and he has no clue how to maneuver in the pocket and extend plays. It's either a pass within 2 seconds or a sack. He just does not know how to maneuver in the pocket so that he has time. And it's not just him, unfortunately. The defense played okay, but it's kind of week to week. And then Justin Jefferson it's a head scratcher this year. I don't know where, he's just not locked in. He's tripping on his routes. He's dropping passes he would always be catching. So I wouldn't say an F, but it has not been a good year.
Yeah, the main reason for the F is just J.J. McCarthy. That's my reasoning behind it. The Texans, I gave the Texans a D. And it's not really their fault. It's just they've gotten so injury-riddled this season that it's kind of hard for us to justify what's actually good and what's actually bad.
Yeah, I gave them a C-, but I kind of feel bad saying that. The offensive line is always out of it. And now C.J. Stroud with his concussion. It's kind of sad to watch because I know, especially watching their defense play, I know they should be at a different level than they are, but they're just being held back by, bad play calling, bad play by the offense, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to add to that. The LA Rams, let's go.
My only A+, and I feel like it's well deserved. Devontae Adams he's back. He's come back from the depths of despair. He's been so bad before now, and that has been that and the George Pickens trade. I think are some of the
George Pickens.
Yeah, those two moves. I think from last offseason.
Rams, I was like, what are you on?
No, both of those moves have just been incredible. I really couldn't say which one was better. And overall, Matthew Stafford could potentially be MVP.
So at the time of the Devontae Adams signing, I was told by a multitude of friends that the Rams are cooked. Because Devontae Adams was not seen as a great signing. We were giving him too much money with $23 million a year. I think you should add on another $12 million to that for how many touchdowns he has this season.
Yeah.
He is like the red zone specialist of our team, which is something we sucked at years prior. But the good thing is that he's really good on one-on-one routes. So you literally do a one-on-one fade route with him, and you get the ball to him, and it's routes.
Yeah.
Because he has good hands. It's just the routes. Along with that, Puka, of course, still him. Stafford now 21-2 TD to INT ratio with fourth in the league, I think, in yards in 9 games only. It's just crazy how good that we've actually become.
Mm-hmm.
Is just the defense now. If our corners specifically can actually lock up good players, we'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Until that happens, I have my team at an A. He said A+. I completely agree with both grades. I just think they need to get the corners down. And if not, we have the first round pick from the Falcons, who are going to be buns for the rest of the year. So right now that's projected to be number 11 overall in the next draft. Draft a linebacker or cornerback then.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be fine. The Ravens.
I think you'll agree with me on this one. A B- is fair because they started really, really, really slow, and the record's still not great. But we all know they're going to win the AFC North by the end of the year. They're coming right back now that they have Lamar Jackson back, and while I definitely don't see them beating out whoever's going to make it to the Super Bowl from the AFC, probably the Colts. I definitely think they'll make a playoff run for sure. They're just not to that point yet.
Agreed. The defense does not look good. Mm-hmm. That's the main issue with the Ravens. Every year we sit down and have the same discussion with the Ravens where the offense looks amazing, their defense looks mid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always what holds them back from going to the Super Bowl. And that's what's going to hold them back this year too, because they're making no changes on the defensive end every year.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions. B+ from my end. Here's why. I think that as long as Jahmyr Gibbs performs, they win, right? And I think, again, Jared Goff's he's a merchant. I'm not going to get into that stuff again. But as far as I'm concerned, their defense is decent. Their O-line is good. Jared Goff is protected. And it's only a matter of time till he folds in the playoffs. So we all know they're not going to make the Super Bowl. But I have a B+ because till now, they basically met expectations minus the loss to the Packers in the beginning of the season.
I think you're forgetting about something. The Vikings beat the Lions, and that's why I got the Lions at a B-. I might even consider giving them a C+. They're not that different from a lot of teams that you've given a lot of lower grades. Their record right now is pretty deceptive. They have gotten blown out by the Packers. They got beat by the Vikings, which I love the Vikings, but that should not have happened. The run game. Without the run game getting them big yardage on first down, Jared Goff just cannot get the ball downfield. He cannot consistently make plays. He cannot escape pressure. And whenever the offensive line isn't protecting him perfectly, he plays horrible. So I see him getting first rounded this year in the playoffs.
I can agree with that. I don't disagree with that. Let's see here. Oh, wow. That's hilarious. The only good team the Lions have beat are the Bucs.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm gonna take back my B+. I think I agree with Levi here. I probably go for C. honestly. Now that I relook at their schedule, because they got blown out by the Packers, blown out by the Chiefs, and they lost to the Vikings. Yeah, they might not. They might just get first round. I think I could see that happening.
Yeah.
The Commanders, with all the injuries they've had, Jaden Daniels basically, we'll call it out for indefinite, and with Terry McLaurin now gone, it's kind of hard to grade them. Yeah. I gave them a C- because even when they had Jaden Daniels, they didn't look so good, but injuries have completely riddled their season.
Yeah, I think by the end of the season, it's going to be fair to give him an F. I gave him a D for now just because there's been flashes of Jaden Daniels being who he was last year, but they're not going anywhere. It's a lost season.
Yeah. Glad we can agree. The Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Philadelphia Eagles. I had the same grade for all three of these teams. The exact same grade. It's a B- for all three.
I don't know. I agree with the Bills at a B-, maybe a C+, just because, what are we doing against the Dolphins? And then, losing to the Patriots, kind of up in the air there, but they look worse than last year, honestly. They're kind of falling apart against teams that they should not be losing to, and the Dolphins game kind of typified that. I'm not sure what happened, but it was bad. They just Josh Allen gets greedy on plays that he thinks he's going to get a cool highlight on, and he either fumbles it, throws an interception, messes up somehow, and suddenly they're down big.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give all three of my reasons at once for why all these three teams are B-. All three of these teams are Super Bowl contenders. This year, they're all not getting to the Super Bowl. I don't even think they're getting to the AFC or NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Flat out. Also, the Chiefs, they have 4 losses, right? All 4 against good teams by 1 score. Except for the Jaguars. I don't know why they lost to the Jaguars, beside the point.
Yeah.
They lost to 3 good teams by 1 score, and they lost to the Jaguars by 1 score. They have the ability to play well and win. Can they execute? Can they do it? That's the question. That's why they're a B-. The Eagles, for as much as we want to tout A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith as being the 2 best wide receiver, the best wide receiver in the league, they're not. They're just flat out not.
Yeah.
This season has completely proved that.
I think really the only week that they had a good, I hate to say it, but the only week that they actually performed well in the passing game was the Vikings, and they still didn't even play crazy good.
Yeah. You talk about good receiving duos, you talk about 2 people who can complement each other. These 2 guys are 2 wide receiver ones who just aren't complementing each other.
Yeah.
And
you look at
is
Devontae Adams.
QB to throw the ball to.
Yeah. Because both are deep targets, and he has shown he just cannot throw the ball deep this year.
Exactly.
I think the perfect example of an actually good wide receiver duo is Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams can make consistent tough catches in the red zone. Puka Nacua can get big yardage in the open field.
Exactly what he said. And that's why, again, I have him at a B-. Saquon also just isn't looking as good as he has in the past weeks, or years, For the Bills, what he said about Dolphins and how they've been sluggish and Josh Allen's been a little bit greedy here and there, I agree with that. Their defense also doesn't look that good. Mm-hmm. In the past years, you would see the defense, you'd be it's not the best, but it's you can get to the Super Bowl with this squad.
Yeah.
This year, it just looks like they're not even going to make the AFC Championship with that squad. They just don't look good, flat out.
Yeah, I think the absolute best, they make it to the second round. They're not going anywhere.
Exactly. I'll let you finish with your Chiefs and Eagles because I kind of just had all 3.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are more like a C+ because, they've more similar to the Bills now with the loss to the Jaguars versus the loss to the Dolphins. But I feel like the Chiefs are slightly worse because week-to-week consistency has been worse. The Bills have just had a few examples where they've slumped.
Yep, I can agree with that. And then the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles. When their defense or nothing, when their run game is not performing the way they want to, similar with the Lions, their pass attack cannot pick up the slack, and they just they're not able to get the plays they need to when they need to turn to Jalen Hurts for answers.
Yeah. So that's our recap on the season so far. Now let's see about the games. So, let's see, how are we going to do this? We basically already recapped their seasons, and in doing that, we recapped most of what these games have looked like, right? So, I think what we'll do is we're going to highlight the best teams and the worst teams this week. Okay? A little different from what we usually do, but just for time and because we basically already recapped their seasons, we'll just do it that way. Starting off, or like winners and losers, best winner and best loser from the week, and then some in betweens. So I think the team that won the most this season, or this week, was who?
I would say, honestly, the Patriots. This was a huge test against the Bucs. We really needed to see both their defense be able to contain Baker Mayfield, which they did. Somehow they were able to get like sacks on him when normally he would be escaping those types of pressures. And it was also a huge. I mean, the Bucs defense isn't that great, but it was a huge test of, a game against the Bucs is always a shootout, and how much can the Patriots score? And this week clearly showed that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the Patriots were one winner from this week. My other winner from this week was the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
They kind of showed that they can go out and beat a team that destroyed the Colts, and they can actually have a decent run game against them, unlike the Colts. So I think the Chargers showed that we can hang with the best teams in the AFC. Just we need some time to be able to get into our flow. Plus, huge credit to the Chargers defense, only holding Pittsburgh to 10 points, though some of that was Aaron Rodgers self-inflicting. But yeah, I for sure agree with the Patriots. I had the Chargers. Another winner from this week that I had was the Dolphins, just because you beat the
surprise
Bills.
win. Yeah.
And anytime an upset happens, we usually call that a win.
Yeah, I would say, it wasn't a huge competition, but the Seahawks definitely showed their defense can shut out a bad team.
Yeah, for sure. Now, biggest losers from this week. I have the Denver Broncos as one of them. Yes, they won their game, true, but it doesn't help your case when Bo Nix has 150 passing yards.
Yeah, and against a defense that's not very good.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about one of the best teams in the NFL, maybe Super Bowl contenders, and 150 passing yards, and let's see what else he had. Because if it will load. So, 150 passing yards, 16 for 28, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So basically, you're telling me that he had the same stat line as Geno Smith, but he had a touchdown too.
Yeah, and an extra interception.
Yeah.
You should not be throwing more interceptions than Geno Smith when you're Bo Nix.
And that's enough for me to be not so good on the Broncos. That's why I had them as one of my losers from this week. Another loser, Levi, do you have one?
I would say on the flip side of the Seahawks-Cardinals game, Cardinals definitely fell back down to earth. Too many turnovers, and the only points they got were kind of garbage time points.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Also, another loser I have from this week is the Cleveland Browns. Just
always losers.
Always losers, but this week specifically, because it seemed like they had something going on with Dylan Gabriel, and it just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel to Jerry Jeudy was a good connection, and the defense just did not hold up. They let Breece Hall just go wild against them, basically.
Yeah. I think two losers that are kind of in a similar situation from this week are the Jaguars and the Panthers. Both this week shouldn't have been a hard game for either of them, but it was a test to see if the upsets they've pulled so far this year weren't just flukes, and they both showed they were just flukes. These were both terrible, terrible games.
Winner, Travion Henderson. His starting chances should go through the roof. If he doesn't start, I might actually just ride it.
Yeah.
Because it's impressive how many yards he has and how many touches he has, and he just doesn't get the starting job over Ramondre Stevenson. Along with that, Davis Mills, 300 yards out of nowhere. Him to Nico Collins plus a couple touchdowns was kind of shocking to watch.
Yeah.
He looked like C.J. Stroud out there.
Yeah, he definitely started slow, but he very quickly found his rhythm.
And then again, Jonathan Taylor's MVP hopes 244 rushing yards, 3 TDs. There's only so much you can say.
Yeah.
But, so that's our biggest winners, biggest losers. We've already recapped the games. So now next up on the list is our picks for this week. Eagles, Packers, tonight, Monday night. Who do you have?
I got the Packers. I think, what we said earlier about the Packers always playing up to competition. I feel like the Eagles are going to look really competitive coming into this game, which means Jordan Love is going to come out hitting hard, and I think the Eagles are not actually going to play very well.
I'm going to pick the Eagles. Here's why. In my fantasy matchup, I'm going against Jordan Love. And I need Jordan Love to have less than 28 points for me to actually win. Therefore, I'm going to be biased, and I'm going to choose the Eagles to win this game and keep Jordan Love in check that way.
You're the worst.
I am the worst because guess what? I care more about my fantasy team than anything else. But in all seriousness, though, I would probably still pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Packers, they've been playing up to competition, true, but they've been playing up to competition against bad teams. And if they can't come to that same mentality against this team, they have to come in with the mentality that we're going to go destroy the Eagles.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they themselves will get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to come with a better mentality this time. If they do and they win, phenomenal, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah.
All right, next week's games, Thursday night. This should be the easiest of them all. Patriots, Jets.
Yeah, it's no question Patriots.
Patriots, moving on. Commanders, Dolphins.
I think I'm gonna pick the Dolphins here. I think this could go either way. This is two pretty beat up, pretty bad teams, but I think I'm gonna give the edge to the Dolphins because of how bad the Commanders' defense is.
I'm gonna give the Commanders the edge here. I think this is gonna be a Marcus Mariota legendary game.
It's always possible.
Yeah. They're gonna have to rely a lot on their defense here because they don't really have an offense anymore.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go with the underdogs here because I don't think the Dolphins have a 2-week wonder in them left.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers, Falcons.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers here because the Falcons had a pretty good week this past week, and generally with the Falcons, it's been one good week, one bad week. I think this is gonna be a really bad week. I think Rico Goodell is gonna run for like 200 yards again. And I think Tedero McMillan also has a big day.
Yeah, I think Rico v. Bichon is going to be a very interesting matchup.
That will be interesting.
But yeah, if the Falcons don't contain Rico Dowdle, it's going the Panthers' way for sure. Bucks, Bills. I have the Bucks.
I think I can agree with that. The Bills, I think they'll definitely be motivated to bounce back this week after such a bad loss, but so will the Bucks, and I think the Bucks have the slight edge.
Agreed.
They might have Bucky Irving back too. So.
Yeah. And if you have Bucky Irving back, you win.
Yeah.
Texans, Titans.
I think it's safe to say the Texans here, but we don't really know whether C.J. Stroud will be back, and I don't want to necessarily bet on the Texans winning this one without him.
I mean, without C.J. Stroud, having Davis Mills against the Titans, I think is still enough for you to win because you have, Woody Marks and Nico Collins. But I think if Cam Ward has a day against the Texans, which he might because the Texans' defense isn't that good, this could easily go either way. Bears, Vikings. I have the Bears.
Okay, we might be bad. We're not that bad. We're winning this game.
You
not
say
even close.
that, but then you realize that the Bears have been clicking on offense with Caleb Williams and Rolo Dunze and DJ Moore.
Week 1 scoreboards, that's all I'm saying. We can do it, we'll do it again.
You say that, and then you realize that when you win once, the other team wants to destroy you twice as hard. Packers, Giants.
I think the Packers is the safest bet here, especially with Brian Dable being fired. I don't think the Giants are going to do anything in this game.
I think the Giants in this game are just going to show why Brian Dable is needed, if anything else.
For sure.
The Bengals, Steelers.
I think the Bengals win this one. They already played the Steelers so far this year, right?
Yeah.
And they won that one, right?
No, they lost.
Okay, yeah, I think they definitely won this one. I mean, it's two old quarterbacks against each other, two pretty bad defenses against each other. I think it should be a high-scoring one, but I think the Bengals are more likely to outscore them.
I think in this game, it's going to be a flashback to what happened 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago, but when the last time they played was. It was a high-scoring affair.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's first week. It was the Olden Bowl, as we call it. It's Olden Bowl 2.0. But I think it's the Steelers winning here. their defense is just so much better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close. Like, like you have the Bengals defense here, but you have the Steelers defense way ahead. And it's not really the Bengals' fault. It's just they just don't have good players.
Yeah.
Like T.J. Watt himself is better than the entire Bengals defense. So yeah, that's why the Steelers are here. Chargers, Jaguars.
I think the Jaguars can bounce back this week. I mean, the Chargers definitely have the better defense, but I think the Jaguars are going to realize we need to start getting this together, or else we're going to lose our early success that we had. So I think they're going to be really motivated. I think that finally the receivers are going to remember to catch the ball, and I think they have a good game.
Yeah, and BTJ has been pretty bad this year.
Yeah.
The Chargers, I have them winning this game. Here's why. I think how they looked against the Steelers, where everything was clicking from Rondé Gadsden to Quentin Johnson to Ladd McConkey to Kimani Vidal, I think those, like, if it clicks again like that, right, they will beat a lot of good teams. Mm-hmm. And I think it will click again like that, and they're going to continue their hot streak over into this game. Hence why I have them beating the Jags. My America's game of the week
Absolutely
should be Seahawks-Rams.
This will be a great one. I think the Rams are definitely the more rounded team. I think the Seahawks definitely have the better defense, but I think the Rams are going to be able to outscore them in this one. But it could definitely go either way, especially if the Seahawks force 2 defensive touchdowns like they did last week.
So they're not going to force defensive touchdowns. That's my guarantee. But Seahawks-Rams, I have, of course, the Rams winning this one. But it's going to come back to a quarterback duel, I feel like. And Matthew Stafford, with the way he's been looking this year,
definitely the better quarterback. Yeah.
49ers-Cardinals. I have the 49ers winning.
I think that's a very safe bet. I think it could be the Cardinals, but I don't see it going.
Yeah, the Cardinals, they're not good.
Yeah.
It's so hard to pick them. The Ravens-Browns. I mean, if either of us disagree on this, it would be hilarious, but it's the Ravens.
It'd be really funny if the Browns won this one, because it would probably derail the Ravens' playoff hopes, but it's probably going to be the Ravens.
Yeah. Chiefs-Broncos. I have the upset here. I had the Chiefs winning.
Yeah, I think that's not unlikely in this one. The Broncos looked really bad this past week. I think their defense will probably shut down the Chiefs pretty well, but if they can't, the Chiefs definitely win this.
Yeah, like PS2, if he comes back, probably the Broncos.
Yeah.
But with the way Rashee Rice has been looking post-accident, and with the way that, the Chiefs' offense has been clicking the past few weeks with Rashee Rice, it looks kind of hard to bet against them.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the Broncos, the issue I see again is they have some rest here, but they're just going to keep playing to one score, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the Chiefs are really, really good at one-score games, even though they're like 0-4 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, the Chiefs have had a bye week, so they're probably already more well prepared than the Broncos have been.
And they usually play really well within the division. So
yeah. Eagles-Lions, another very good game.
I think I'm going to give the Eagles the win here. I think their offense is going to finally take a leap, and the Lions' run defense has not been particularly great so far this year, so I think Saquon Barkley is going to break out in this game, and I think the Eagles will be able to run away with this one.
So I have the Lions here. Here's why. If the Eagles lose, right, a lot of things happen, but that's beside the point. The Lions, the reason why I haven't won this game specifically is because I feel like every time the Lions and the Eagles play, it's always cinema, but at the end of the game, it always comes out to, like, the Lions winning.
Yeah.
And in this game, the main factor that we're going to have to watch is A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Mm-hmm. Again, just every week, can they perform? If they perform, the Eagles win. If they don't, the Eagles lose.
And I think on the flip side, the Lions, really the key to beating the Lions is shutting down the run game, and I don't know if the Eagles are going to be able to do that. So
yeah,
that could definitely be a way the Lions win.
And then the last game of the week, Cowboys, Raiders.
Cowboys, easy win. I mean, the Raiders will probably score a lot better than they have in the past weeks, but it's going to be a Cowboys win.
It's going to be the Cowboys by one.
Yeah.
So, real quick, the last thing I want to do is the top 5 teams in the NFL right now and our top 3 MVP candidates right now. Mm-hmm. I'll start with my top 5 teams right now. I have the Rams, Patriots, Colts, Seahawks, and after that win last night, the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those are all fair picks. I think I would go Rams and then Colts, and then I'd go Seahawks at third. And then after that, it gets a bit messy because most teams that can be up there, like I think the Patriots at 4 is fair, but I don't know about Chargers in top 5 just because they've been really week to week. I think the 5 spot is probably going to also change week to week, but I'm going to put the Bucs up there just because I think, especially whenever they get. Well, is Chris Godwin going to come back this year?
He should come back this year, but when he came back, he was pretty buns.
Yeah, I think the main thing is getting Bucky Irving back here, and I think they'll take a huge leap after that happens.
And I should say mine were in no particular order. I just kind of listed them.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, who's best? And I
Okay.
listed them. Top 3 MVP candidates, again, in no particular order from me. Jonathan Taylor, who will win the MVP for non-QBs. Oh, boy. Matthew Stafford and Drake May.
I think that's definitely a good couple picks. I think just because of what you said about the non-QB award, I think it could go to Daniel Jones, which is just not fair at all, but I think it could. It could also go to Sam Darnold if they take a leap. Drake May, I would question just because he's pretty young, and I don't see him having the consistency to keep up his numbers. But
I mean, he's been in the MVP talks.
It's true. He's been in the MVP talks, and so is Sam Darnold. I don't think either of them are actually going to get it, but they definitely deserve to be in the talks. And then another spot, I think Christian McCaffrey can get it if the 49ers take a leap and get a good record for the rest of the
That
year.
won't
But
happen specifically just because they need a defense for that, and
Yeah.
they really don't have one.
Yeah.
Like, all 3 of these teams have decent defenses,
mhm.
but the 49ers are kind of island right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that'll do it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We should be back next week. All right?
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week.
See ya.